basically just put this kombu in the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Look at me making dashi. Not me making dashi with the master. Hey guys, we're outside of Soto restaurant, the beautiful brainchild of chefs Carole and Iida-Nakayama. The new restaurant is an izakaya-inspired Japanese restaurant, and we are going to talk all things Donabe. I'm so excited. Let's go.
So this is a donabe.
What does Donabe mean for those who have not experienced?
Do in the donabe means like earth or like clay. So basically it's nabe is pot, so clay pot. The donabe kind of serves its purpose as like the finishing rice course.
So in the style of Donabe cooking, is there one stock or liquid that's used throughout, or does that vary based on the flavor profile?
In Japanese food, you can't
Yes.
cook without dashi.
Yes.
So you're probably familiar with kombu, right? I mean, this is basically like the heart and soul of Japanese cooking.
Bonito
right?
flake and kombu.
Yes.
Yes. And bonito flake is?
It's usually a skipjack tuna that's basically been dried, goes through like 12 or 15 steps of drying and smoking and repeating that process over and over and over.
It's almost like fish jerky in a way,
It
like
is,
mild.
yeah. Totally. That's
elegant.
exactly what it is. yeah.
Sure.
We got a nice cold pot of water. That's key. Like you always
Cold.
have to start with cold
Cold
water.
water. Okay,
So
kombu.
if it's a little too big, we can kind of bend it a little bit or snap it. And then you're gonna turn the heat up because we want this to come up to temp slowly, because you don't want to over extract, because then you'll get that fishy, unsavory flavors that
Sure.
will get imparted. You never want it to boil. Now that the kombu's been steeping for a long time, and we pulled that out, we basically just put this into that kombu broth. And that combination of the two is what's going to give us ichiban dashi. So you want to give it a hand?
Yes. Okay. Oh, it's so interesting how it just melts.
Yes.
So does it just off the heat sort of steep
Yeah,
now?
off the heat, just let it steep. Here we do it for maybe about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because we want a bit more concentrated smokiness from that katsu.
Wow.
And then we'll strain it out.
Okay, this is a Tasmanian ocean trout
Wow.
from Australia.
Nice to meet you, sir or ma'am.
So let's do scale off.
Okay.
Usually we don't touch for meat side because hand has so hot.
So the body heat
Yeah.
raises the temperature of the flesh when we touch the body. So we want to avoid that.
Yes. So I do it this way. Do you want to do hot?
Sure. Thank you, chef. Chef, what is the Japanese name fish of this ocean trout?
Called masu. So just wash inside too.
So this is already the guts
Clean,
taken
yes,
out,
yes,
clean.
clean.
Excellent.
So I just cut head, okay?
Okay. Just behind the gills. Do you always use the deba knife for this?
Yes.
So we're going to remove the flesh from the bones.
Yes. So I do always like this. And make sure the bone has a downside for my knife. If you cook, tastes more good, better than salmon. Do you wanna try?
Sure. How would you say this fish reacts to heat? Is this one of the best fish to cook in terms of flavor, fat content for this donabe dish?
Oh, because we try to use salmon, but salmon has some flavor, another flavor, a strong flavor. But this is a delicate flavor. So when you touch, bone has like this.
Yes.
So we have to do. I'm always doing like this, one finger to make sure bone to hold.
So we don't damage
Some
the
people
flesh.
like this,
Yeah.
then messy for bone.
Absolutely.
So like this much big.
Okay. Like 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces. 2 ounces.
So now process going to Chef Carole.
This is the rice we're going to be using to cook this donabe.
What style of rice are we using today?
So this one is tamaki rice. That's the brand, and it's koshihikari green.
So we start off with the washed rice
Yeah.
into the donabe. So as I'm placing the fish in, what should I be looking for in terms of where I'm placing this fish?
As much as possible, trying not to overlap them,
Not
letting them all
overlapping.
touch the surface of the rice.
Okay.
So that way, when it's cooking, the heat is distributing more evenly, and then it's also penetrating into the rice evenly. So then the last step before we get it on the stovetop is basically taking that dashi that we made earlier,
Yes.
the ichiban dashi, and this is just a ratio of 10 parts dashi, 1 part usukuchi soy sauce, and then there's a little bit of mirin to add a little sweetness, but just undertone of it.
Essentially, this is all of the seasoning we're adding to this
Yes,
donabe.
that's it.
Amazing.
So are you familiar with nuka?
I will say no.
Okay. So this is like a super traditional way of pickling. It's rice bran. So they used to
Yes.
take that outer rice bran layer off of the rice when they're milling the rice. Basically turn that into a fermenting bed. You can smell that funk.
Yes, absolutely. Tingly. Never met a probiotic I didn't like.
Essentially you take rice bran, water, salt. In the beginning stages you put like leafy parts of vegetables or the outer layers of cabbage or whatever, and you bury it in there, and then you keep changing it out, and as you're doing that and stirring it, all those like healthy bacteria will start fermenting in there and
Yes.
creating this, which is what we call a nuka doko, the nuka bed.
How long would you say this one's been alive?
I guess this one, it's not too long, but maybe almost a year.
Wow. And how long could they go potentially?
I've heard of people back in the day like passing it on to the next generation.
Wow.
It's like passing on your sourdough starter. So this has been in that nuka pot for a day, overnight. You can tell they're a little bit flimsy feeling. They're not quite as crisp and hard.
Yes. They've released some of their water.
Yeah, some of that moisture's been drawn
Absolutely.
out. And
And so what does the purpose of the pickle serve in a dish like a donabe?
well, Japanese people love pickles in general, so it's pretty much served with every meal. But in particular with the donabe, it just adds a nice crunchy accent, nice vegetal accent, because the rice is so moist and comforting and warm, and you just kind of want a little acid to offset that.
Totally. So that sort of takes you on a journey, having that
Yeah,
like
and going
foreground, background
forth,
flavor.
back and forth,
Absolutely. And you can kind of sort of architect your perfect bite as you enjoy the
Exactly.
donabe.
All right, Yoji-san's back. He's going to help us with
Yay! Welcome back. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. The aroma, it's like intoxicating. I mean, the kombu and the bonito, it plays so elegantly with the ocean trout.
this. So now we're going to top this with this beautiful ikura, which is
My
the
fave.
roe, and it's going to add just that little bit of like saltiness and these little pops of salty delicious umami. And then this is mitsuba.
Mitsuba.
Yeah, have you had this before?
I think this is my first Mitsuba experience.
So it just adds a nice delicate like green, almost like parsley like sherbet.
Very parsley-like sherbet, yes.
And then once it's dropped tableside, then of course we would open it back up and all that nice steam would come out. Just mix all of this in.
Wow.
The idea is just to like stir it so that you're getting all the ingredients melded together, and then it's ready to eat.
And so everybody gets their own perfect little bowl.
Yeah, everyone gets their own bowl, but we're, enjoying it together.
Absolutely,
And
communally. Enjoy.
we say itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu. Yum. My favorite part. Wow. This is so cool. I love eating like this because it's like, one pot, but then based off of the individual, they can all sort of customize it and design their perfect bowl.
Exactly.
What an incredible experience being able to add to my repertoire and my tapestry of creation, and getting to see different techniques around the world, and slow cooking, right, in a clay pot is like an incredible experience.
Japanese food has so much like mystery surrounding it, and there's just all this like technical precision and this that always gets so talked about. But as you saw today, there's nothing hyper technical about this, and it's really about the deeper meaning that I really want people to get from Soto and Japanese cooking. It's about the heart that we're putting into the food. It's about the heart that the craftsmen put into getting these ingredients to us, and sharing that and having people just be happy and enjoy it.